All right, Joe, coming in hot.
Yeah, hot mics. Let's go.
So you clicked on this. You clicked on this video, and the question is, was it worth it?
Is it worth my reaction?
Exactly.
Yes.
Was it worth it?
The amount of clickbait material that's out there these days.
So much, man. You don't know where to start.
I know. As we're speaking, we're one of them.
Right? I know, right?
But I would like to challenge those words as a topic. Is it worth my reaction? A lot of the times after we've done the thing, then we ask the question, what if we ask the question before we do the thing?
Man, how often do you regret the thing that you've done?
Oh, man. Reaction is movement.
You know, it is.
There's a motive. And when I think of motives, I see gears like all connected and intertwined and like moving the engine, if you will. And I think that's something that we're facing nowadays with technology. And I'm not trying to downtrod technology or anything like that, but it can be something that rules over us, man. It just takes over.
Yeah, you got to find that balance of entertainment versus learning versus the thing that holds you captive and slave to it.
Yeah.
For me, it was having two phones, social media on one.
Gosh,
no social media on the other one. You know, I would like to say that I had an amazing restraint and that I could have this phone and not want to see who liked what or, shared my post. But man, I'm human like everybody else, So
it's interesting you said that you have this amazing restraint.
No, I said I wish I had this amazing restraint.
Oh, okay. But there's some men who think they do, right?
For me, it took two phones, That was my restraint.
But you gotta be honest with, like, men today, do you think a lot of us men, and I'm saying us, me included, we have this pre-assumption that we do have an amazing restraint power, but a lot of times we fail.
Well, I think it exists that we can have that restraint with practice, right? If we discipline ourselves, exactly. If we discipline if we practice over and over and over and over, we eventually discipline ourselves to one, do the things that we should, to not do the things that we shouldn't be doing, and to two, create the healthy habits of doing the things that we know we should be doing.
I like where you're going.
I think the potential, I know the potential exists in all of us to have amazing restraint if we practice these habits repeatedly. The question is, when do we find time to practice? What is proper practice? And how do we begin to do something new that we don't know how to do or have never done before?
I love that. It reminds me when I was in the military, and I think this was more in, I think it was the first year. So after the first year, I was able to I was preparing to go to the Solomon Islands, right? It's a Pacific island, very close to Fiji and all the other Pacific islands there. But it was a peacekeeping role where you'll go in there and just make sure that, there's no criminal activity going on. The police force isn't strong enough to stabilize the country, so they needed an army to go in there.
Peacekeeping mission.
So I remember part of the training before going to this deployment, and we did riot training. And there was moments there where I had the shield, we had a baton, and we did this exercise where we would escort a truck with resources from one destination, so location A to location B.
Okay.
And these resources, obviously, the people want it. Mm-hmm. So we had these role players out there in this training.
And they were the rowdy crowd?
They were the rowdy crowd. And it was I'd say, there was 12 of us soldiers, let's say. It was about 12 of us soldiers with all our padding gear. We had the helmet on, the shield on, everything. And we had the baton, what you call it, baton. Yes.
Baton.
Yeah, baton. And these role players go all out. I'm talking spitting at you.
Exactly. Did they get combative?
Yeah.
Can they hit you? Push you?
We hit them. Sometimes they grab one of our legs and try to pull us out. Okay. And then we literally hit them with the baton. or the baton. Literally, I've seen it. It's guys leaving with huge bruises on their legs. But I'm saying that to say, we had to be disciplined. We couldn't react to what the crowd was doing, whether they spit at us or do anything like that. Obviously, if they start grabbing us and tackling us, that's when we get activated, if you will. But if they're just throwing comments at us, we just stand there, on guard.
So you prepare for this,
yes.
And how did it play out in real life?
Thank God no riots happened. It did happen, I think, a few years prior to this deployment. Okay. They were preparing us if this ever goes down, especially when there's election election years and all that kind of stuff, it gets pretty rowdy. Nothing crazy happened there, thank God, but there were just like moments at night. We'd do a night patrol and drunk men were around and doing silly things. But thank God that didn't happen. But I'm just saying that to say I had to be selective with my reaction.
So what I hear about military, I've never been to the military myself, but I hear that it disciplines you, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
What's some of the things that you've taken from military and been able to implement successfully in civilian life?
Being more aware.
Okay.
It's interesting because when you're under so much pressure, whether it's in a war-torn country or you're in an exercise where they simulate that war-torn country, as chaotic as it feels, I'm learning to regulate myself. Okay. It's like, it's okay. Just a bunch of noise. So what's the mission?
How long has it been since you were in? Years-wise?
Gosh, almost 10 years now. Oh, my goodness. It's almost 10 years.
And it still applies, like the disciplines that you learned?
I think so.
Because you were in quite a bit.
I think so, because when something chaotic is happening, I'm the calmest one in there. I've noticed it a few times where something's going on at church or something's going on at home. I'm just sitting there looking around. Everyone's going crazy, and I'm just like, oh, interesting. I just kind of like observe. It's kind of like the Matrix. So.
That's cool. That's cool.
But I think that's because I've been under so much of that pressure, if you will.
Yeah.
Where it made me better. It wasn't like I didn't fold. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember folding. I don't know if it's a natural gift or a genetic. I don't know. I'm just thinking back now. I'm like, it never was chaotic whenever something crazy was happening, unless someone was hurt, I guess. But typically be the calmest one.
And our backgrounds have a lot to do with it too.
That's true.
When we talk about our childhood, our upbringing, some of the things that we've had to go through and overcome.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a fighter. You're a survivor. Like you've been through some traumatic things and overcome those.
True.
So
that is a good point.
I think the fact that you went to the military and got some training, some technical training, along with your experience, just probably elevated your unique intuition.
Okay, I love what it says here. This is John Maxwell. He talks about the difference between a pessimist, an optimist. Optimist and a leader. The pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist expects it to change. The leader adjusts the sails. I love leadership. Mm-hmm. I think it's a principle. Matter of fact, dare I even say this? I actually don't like using the word principles anymore for some reason. I had a bit of a shift lately.
Okay, let's hear.
And we'll allude to some of the other points that can connect to this topic. For some reason, I'm feeling like I know that there is a master at play here, right? Mm-hmm. A master with his tapestry.
Okay.
He's an artist, right? And he created this world, and most of the things that we see, whether it's natural law or how things work, the way things work and how things bring the beauty of a thing, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So when we're talking about creation and the creative things that we see, I see it as an expression. So instead of saying it's a principle, it's a law, it's an expression.
It's an expression. So I've heard it said like this, that the life that we experience is the life that we experience, the world, the people, the places, the things we do and see is our internal life expressed outward, right? It's our internal life expressed outward. It's what I think, what I feel, what I believe. That's why Jesus said, do you believe, right?
Yeah.
If you don't believe, you won't receive. Like you won't receive the gift that is life, that is heaven, right?
Yeah.
Now, the Bible does says principles and principalities. So,
yes.
And we know principles
there are systems at play.
We know that there are systems at play, and those principles are fundamental and they are concrete.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with being good or being bad, right?
Right.
Because you have good people who are doing bad in life,
yeah.
and you have bad people who are crushing it in areas of industry. And, it's because the principles that are at play. If you know the principles and you practice the principles, it's a fail-safe. Practicing the principles is a fail-safe.
Because the reason why I'm saying it's an expression, it almost demands me to see the beauty of a thing, right? Mm-hmm. And I have to make sure my head's straight before I try to see the beauty of a thing, right? And I just know whenever there's a good thing, and I know it's good and it's pure and all the great things, it's an expression. It's an expressed idea.
You know, they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
You ever seen something that's like, man, that's a mess, but somebody else sees it and like they love it. You know, what's worth $1 million to somebody else, you wouldn't even think of giving your time to it, right? So
I heard a statement, and I may mess this one up. It's beauty is found in the eye of the beholder. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
And then I've heard the other phrase of a pure heart is the eye of the maker.
A pure heart. So Little B's making music, right? He's making beats. And then he'll come to me and he'll be like, do you like that? I'm like, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And then if I like it, he think it's good. But I had to remind him this. It's not about me liking it because you have to like it. I have artists that I love, right? I love their music, but then they have songs that I just won't listen to.
Interesting.
But that don't mean that they need to stop making music because I don't like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 20 songs, right? The songs that I don't like, somebody else love.
Interesting.
That's the artistry of it all.
So with this whole interaction, is it worth our reaction?
Is it?
Because I know we all have different personalities and perspectives, perceptions. Those clickbaits, man, like
They'll get you.
they'll get you.
They'll get you. Since I stopped, okay, what's it worth, right? I was able to share with a couple dudes at church on Sunday the power of reading books.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys read? They was like, nah, man, we don't read. I'm like, okay, totally understand why, because I've been there. You know, I was 15, 16 years old, not trying to pick up a book. But once I put down social media, I'll probably go through about 50 books a year. 50 books a year. Easy,
Could.
right?
Yeah.
And as I got to sharing with them my joy of reading, and I let them know, look, the topic could be on anything, guys. Y'all like sports? Yeah, we love sports. Well, read sports books. You read sports books? No, not really. Why not? You love it, right? And as I was just sharing with them, man, my journey and how it could change them, and hey, I'll read a book with you. You tell me what you like. We'll read it together. Their eyes just lit up, right? So there's a price to be paid with the things that we spend our time on, right? Like it's not just frivolous.
Price tag.
There's a price on, and you have to ask, like, where's the value in your time? We talked about this not long ago, the cost of time or the value that's associated with your time.
Yeah, budget your time. Yeah.
That it's not just, it's not just fickle.
And I think when you do ask the question, is it worth my reaction? You also have to consider the price tag is not included on the thing that you're about to click. Imagine if it showed you the price, the cost of this entity, whether it's a clickbaity YouTube channel, whatever it is, or it could be anything, man. It could be really anything. What if someone is mismanaging their emotion and is demanding you to react to their mismanagement of their emotion? Now, what I mean not reacting is in like joining in the club. If they're angry, you're joining in the club because they're angry. You're angry with them.
And most of us do that.
Oh, my goodness. And it makes sense because we're herders. We all herd together. We all come together.
And here's why we do it. We do it because when someone comes to us emotionally distressed, we assume that they need comfort, right?
Wow.
And to give them comfort, we side with them. Oh, I know exactly what you're feeling. Oh, they did you wrong. That ain't right, right?
It's a principle.
It's
an expression.
Yeah, it's an expression. But really, I think what they need is what that person need, for anyone listening to this, someone come to you emotionally, an emotional wreck, they need a calm head. They need somebody to step back and see, okay, is it even worth your reaction? The person that's bringing it to you, is it worth their reaction, right?
Yeah.
What they really need is help, not comfort. They need someone they need an opposing opinion of what they're feeling. Is it even worth them feeling? So is it worth me reacting to the way you're feeling, or is it worth you reacting to the way you feeling?
It's like that thermostat analogy that you have, which is great. Because I love you said with the thermostat analogy, it's like you set the temperature. You can also check the temperature. That's key. You got to check it first. Is it hot or cold?
Exactly.
If they're hot and they want to be cold, change the temperature.
Yeah. Why
Why you're all just complaining it's hot?
complaining?
So, Man, I really like this statement that John Maxwell said here. I'm not sure he's the one that came up with this, but the pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist
expects
it to change. The leader adjusts the sails.
I kind of like, so my take on that about the optimist part, like I like being an optimist. Like I like having an open opinion about being inspired about what's possible, about what's next. You know, I think a good leader is optimistic. He's hopeful. You know,
which I think this demands us to. It's not that it's a bad thing. Whether complaining is being a pessimist is
big time. That's a problem.
I think being a pessimist is just misdirected. The complaining is coming from a place of there's an opportunity that needs to be fixed here, and then the optimist, I think, when I look at this, expects it to change. Like there's an expectation. It's great. It's a good thing.
Great expectation.
So complaining, just a little bit misdirected. You got to tweak it to it's an opportunity. And then when it's optimist expects it to change, yes, you see the change, but now the leader actually does the thing.
Activate change.
Actually adjust things.
Exactly.
The problem is no one gets to that level.
The leadership.
When I say no one, I say majority. Rarely majority, or they're misled.
We fall short of being the one to actually do the thing. We want the thing to happen. We expect the thing to happen, but the majority falls short of being the one who activate the thing to happen.
I think that's why anxiety is rampant right now, because people are confused, analysis paralysis. They don't know what to do.
Ups and downs. Yeah.
So this is a great reminder. Is it worth your reaction?
No, because your reaction is that moment, right? It's not the full picture. It's not the whole story. Your reaction is that moment.
Seasonal.
Everything is seasonal. All of
like
it.
If you're going through a hard time right now.
Yeah, our careers, relationships, sickness, finances, they're up, they're down. It's all seasonal. Relationships, people come, people go, they change. I mean, our children, they're growing.
Yeah.
You know, like where they are right now, it's just a season of life. Where areas.
I know. And I think let's talk about two things that men deal with. I say men primarily because we are men. Okay. We should be more specialized with men, if you know what I mean.
I've got some experience there.
And I think one of the things that I do want to bring up here is honesty and community.
Community or humility?
Honesty and community.
Community. Okay.
And the reason why I'm bringing those two topics up is because men are alone because they're not either honest with themselves or honest with people around them. And it pushes community away.
It makes sense.
They don't know how to ask for help, man.